Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today, you're in for a treat because we have a double feature. First, we're going to talk about What If, the Marvel animated series on Disney+. And second, we're going to talk about Netflix neon action movie Kate. I think neon action is a new genre.
Right.
But before we get into all that, Dan, did you like anything this week?
Sure. Like we were talking about before off mic here, it's been a while since we've recorded, unfortunately. So I do have a bunch of stuff here, but I'll try to keep it sort of shorter. I'll start with some nonfiction books that I finished. I finished a book called Ghost Wars by Stephen Cole, Coll. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name in that way, but it was about the CIA's involvement in Afghanistan from back when the Russians invaded to Afghanistan to the book ends September 10th, 2001.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's intense and it's crazy and it's all real. And that's what makes it so just crazy about the whole situation and story and just the CIA's involvement in basically like the proxy wars and, Cold War stuff and spy stuff. Like, for example, like I found this anecdote to be just so comical in that the CIA, they were getting involved, and then the Russians were like, okay, we don't like this guy. Let's spread a rumor that this guy is a CIA plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they discovered that the guy had literally met the CIA once, and then they thought maybe he was a CIA plant.
Oh, no.
So then they had to recall that guy back to Russia, even though the CIA is like, we don't even know who you're talking about. We never even met this guy, kind of a thing. So it's literally like stuff like that happens in these spy stories, and it was real. So it was really crazy, and just some of the things that happened that led up. Because I've read a book called The Looming Tower, which specifically focuses on the attacks on the Twin Towers. Super good book. Right. I think I've mentioned a bit before.
Yeah.
So this had more, though, events and politics talking about, of course, in Afghanistan and the region before the terror attacks. So there was, of course, a lot of the same characters and crossover and people were there. But it was like the day before the attacks happened, maybe 2 days before, there was a guy that the CIA and the intelligence committee had decided they're like, okay, we should get behind this guy more. He's been they were on the fence about him for so many years. And then he was assassinated. And then the Twin Tower attack happened. Anyway, it was a crazy read. He has a follow-up book called Directorate S, which involves, I think, Pakistan and Syria a little more. Plan on reading that because Ghost Wars, super good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and then I also read a book called The Traitor and the Spy, which was about a KGB agent who was actually an MI6 double agent. And again, this is nonfiction, so this is real. And he spied for MI6 for many years, and eventually he got outed by a CIA double mole, and he gets recalled to Russia. And then the story's about his career in the KGB and how he escaped out of Russia.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, good read, and it's crazy because, again, this was Cold War era, so this was 85, I think, 86 when he escaped. I think it was 85. And
85 is a good year.
So he's still alive, and at the end of the book, they talk a bit about it, how it's like he's still under MI6 or MI5 protection and security because Russia still wants him dead.
That's crazy.
Kind of a thing. So, yeah, it was a good read. I think it was very popular because I had to put it on I got on the wait list for it literally in December of last year from the library. But I was reading so many other things that I was kind of like, whatever, when this comes up, I'll read it. So if I wanted to, I probably could have got on it quicker. But anyway, it was also a good read. Do recommend if you're into some nonfiction spy stuff. As well as, we didn't do an episode about it or anything, but I saw Shang-Chi, which I really enjoyed.
I really have meant to go see that, but I just haven't yet. I've been busy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I have a couple of qualms with it, of course, as per any Marvel movie, but overall, it was very enjoyable.
Was there just not enough origin story for?
No, I think it was actually a pretty good balance of origin story this time. They're
Oh,
getting yeah, they're
cool.
getting away from it, which is I'm glad because they realize that people aren't like, what do you mean he has powers? And I don't understand. It was more like classic flashback stuff where it's like him as a kid getting trained, and you're like, I get it. I don't need to see more, right? So, but yeah, so I did enjoy that and had good cast and like the guy who plays Shang-Chi's dad. I don't know his name. I was talking to my coworker about it, and he's a bigger like Hong Kong actor. The guy has presence. Like when he's on screen, and you're just like a lot of the movie rests on him, and it was good. He was really good in it, and I did enjoy the movie.
Cool.
Yeah, as well as I guess I'll just mention I finally decided to get around and collect the manga versions or the prints of Akira. Anyway, the manga. So
Oh,
I
nice.
finally got all 6 volumes of that. Did a reread of that, and man, is it really good! It's how shocking this series that is well known and lauded as one of the best is still one of the best.
You showed me clips of that one, right?
The movie, yes, but not. So yeah, I reread them. I was reading the manga, of course. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So yeah,
That's
if
the
any,
one where the guy turns into a gross monster thingy.
yes,
Yeah,
which does happen in the manga several times.
cool.
Yeah, because of course, like the movie that I showed you, and I know you haven't seen the whole thing, but it's like it's basically like 1/3 of the story, maybe under, kind of compressed from all 6 volumes of the manga. So of course the manga is bigger, more characters, and a longer story. So
That's
worth
cool.
worth checking out for sure. Yeah, and real quick, if I haven't mentioned it, Night Dawn #1, Peter F. Hamilton. It's an older series, but he is reading that. Maybe after them done finish the trilogy, I can give a better perspective on it. But anyway, tons of stuff, good times, and the things we're about to talk about. But what about you, Devin? Anything you want to highlight?
Okay, I'm gonna try to remember stuff, but mostly the things that I'm consuming is D&D related because I'm going to start a campaign next weekend, which is exciting. Which you're gonna play?
Hmm.
So I resubscribed to Dropout, the app, and so I've been watching a bunch of other people play D&D. I watched the Dimension 20's Crown of Candy, which is like Game of Thrones meets Candyland. Highly recommend it. I watched the Unsleeping City seasons 1 and 2, which is like a magical New York that exists kind of on top of regular New York. And when you become magical, you can see all the magical stuff going on. So that was
Hmm.
cool. And then I also have been following The Seven, which is their newest campaign, which is kind of a spin-off of Fantasy High. And I'm not enjoying it as much. I find that they derail really easily. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't what like you all seem like lovely people, but I don't really care about your like lives. I kind of just want to like see the gameplay so I can understand the game better. Okay, so there's that. Did I talk about Ready or Not already? I think I did.
I don't know if on the show. I know we talked about it briefly.
It's a fun, campy horror movie.
Yeah. No, I know the movie you're
Um,
talking about.
I highly recommend it. It's the actress from The Babysitter stars in it. I really like
Yeah.
her. I think she's quickly becoming in like my top 5 favorite actresses because she's so different in everything she does.
Right.
Something I can't remember. Samara something. Anyways, she's also plays one of the daughters in Bill and Ted, and uh, she's completely unrecognizable in Nine Perfect Strangers. I think I mentioned that I was watching that before, but now I've finished the series.
Hmm.
It was mediocre. There wasn't really much payoff at the end. I watched Brand New Cherry Flavor on Netflix. Have you seen that?
No idea. No.
So it's based off a book, and I think it was only 6 to 8 episodes, and they like listed it as like a limited series, but they only covered about a third of the book. They kind of ended it in a way that I guess it was semi-satisfactory if they never make another season. But there were so many unanswered questions that it did feel a bit like you've only read a third of the story. And I think
Weird.
it also, even though it was like, it sucked you in, it was more like about really interesting visuals than and like cinematography than actually like a good story and good dialogue.
The
And
other
the
half
acting
of
was okay.
the story. Yeah.
Oh, I also watched The Great Canadian Bake Off season 4. It was good. I mean, it's just a relaxing baking show where people are nice to each other because there's no money at stake. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I started watching Prodigal Son. How do you say that word, Dan?
Prodigal. Yeah.
Prodigal. Why do I want to put a G in there?
Well, there is a G in it.
Why do I? Good point. Why do I want to put more G's in that word?
Yeah, well, it's just like emphasized differently. Yeah.
Prodigal. Anyways, it's good. Michael Sheen's in it. He's a serial killer in jail. Yeah. His son solves crimes.
Nice. Oh, sorry, and I guess I do have one more thing I want to mention.
What's that?
Well, two more. I know that because I'm a big consumer of some of this stuff, is that TI, the Dota International, is on right now. By the time I release this, it should be coming up to some of the bigger games in the main event, which is always fun, as well as the World Series of Poker is on. So that's a lot of fun as well to watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and I rewatched The Matrix because I had to for my philosophy class.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's still good.
Absolutely.
I don't know about the sequels. I don't think I've seen them since they were in like theaters, but the first one's still good.
Yeah, no, the first one's amazing. And my take on the sequels, and I was talking about this with some people the other day, or maybe the other week, is I really like a lot of the ideas in the sequels, just not the execution.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I thought that was it the second one that had the French lady in it?
Well, yeah, it has the Merovingian in it, yeah.
But then he has like a wife or a girlfriend or something?
Yeah, it's Monica Bellucci.
Yeah, she's so pretty. That's what I remember most about the second one, is she's probably one of the most beautiful people in the world.
She is a pretty woman.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I heard. Oh, and those guys that had matching dreadlocks.
Yeah.
White guys with dreadlocks and a pretty girl.
The Aussie ghosts. Yeah.
The important stuff.
Yeah, the Aussie ghosts, for sure.
Oh, and I believe that there was like a Blade-style nightclub scene.
Well, and The Matrix, of course. The first one had the nightclub scene. So.
Oh, that's true. But that one felt more like Sanctuary, like the old goth club in Vancouver. That's a reference that only a specific age group and region and interest will appreciate. Yeah. Okay, I'm done talking about The Matrix now. Let's talk about What If?
Yeah.
Okay, so first, right off the bat, 9 episodes. It's an animated Marvel Cinematic Universe show that has stories from alternate dimensions where different choices were made. It's told from the perspective of the Watcher, who watches all the multiverses but never gets involved. It was 9 episodes long. It was supposed to originally be 10 episodes long, but they moved one of the episodes to the next season.
Yeah, I was surprised when I read that.
Yeah, because I was like, I watched the final episode and I'm like, did I miss the Gamora episode? Like, did I just skip it by accident?
Yeah, that was me myself as well. I was like, not that I was like, okay, yeah, pulling Gamora, cool. But then I was also like, wait, was there a story that I didn't remember?
Yeah, it's in season 2.
That all makes sense. I was also like, okay, yeah, pulling Gamora, cool. She's combat expert. You want her in there?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What was your overall thoughts? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think overall I did enjoy this series. I will straight up say off the bat I'm not a fan of the animation style.
No,
But
the animation looks like shit.
yeah, it's weird because I was reading a bit about the production of it, and yeah, I don't know. They talked it up that they're like, okay, we're gonna do this like 2.5D style and this and that, and it's like cell shaded, and I'm like, yeah, but I've seen better cell shading animation styles, and like I'm fine with the backgrounds being simple, but like I don't know, it just rubs me kind of the wrong way, I guess. Like I'm not a fan of like the Clone Wars animation style and all that kind of stuff like that, which is similar. So it's not my style, but the writing and the stories were very good.
I agree. I feel like what they should have done is had a different animation style for every episode.
I
Like,
think in the production they spoke about doing that, but then it was like it would be too much of a workload. They also talked about doing hand drawn, but they couldn't find a studio to do it. And as
mm,
well as I think, yeah, it was just going to be too much of work. And then the pandemic threw a big wrench into stuff. So then they were just like, okay, we're just going to do this one style and stick with it.
they should have just got the Samurai Jack guy to do it.
Well, yes, but also I think he's busy with Primal. So.
Yeah, but it's Disney. They'll just give you a boatload of money. Then
Yeah,
Primal can go on forever.
that's fair. I mean, yeah, like I'm always a huge fan of that animation style. So yeah, it was kind of interesting that they talked about trying to do something slightly different, and they settled with this style. And it just, yeah, like I said, didn't work for me. But
It was very generic, and it reminded me more of like old Flash animation more than anything else.
which is what you want from $1 billion studio.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, because I was talking with a coworker about it too, and I was like, yeah, I'm just not a fan. He's like, well, like the simple backgrounds. I'm like, no, the simple backgrounds, I'm fine with a painted background that looks like scratchy and like not all there because that's cool. But it was just, yeah, I don't know, the characters and the way they moved just didn't really kind of sell some of the weight to them and some of the hits and stuff like that. But like,
Specifically with Thor, I
yeah.
felt like they didn't fill in all the details. Like it looked like it was 75% complete. Especially his face. His face only looked 75% complete to me.
Well, it was very smooth and not defined, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's so many cool animation styles in the world, and they picked the most boring one.
Yeah, which was too bad because, of course, some of the character designs themselves were like Captain Carter's outfit looked great, and like the
Oh yeah.
Widow when she's all like armored up and everything, and then the Battle of Gamora looked awesome and everything. So, like a lot of the designs were really good.
Doctor Strange looked rad as fuck.
Oh yeah, as like the Dark Supreme Sorcerer or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
killing it.
I also felt like no, wait, what am I trying to say? I felt like I shouldn't read what other people think about things after I watch them because I just kept seeing articles about like every week. It didn't matter what episode it was. They were like, here's how here's how Marvel's What If ruined this character. And I'm
Really?
like, you don't understand the concept of the show.
Yeah. The point is, it's not the same character.
you God, yeah. Anyways, it's just
Well,
a
I thought
minor.
I thought it was a good kind of introduction. I assume we'll kind of talk about the episodes maybe one at a time or not, but like I thought it was a neat introduction to do episode one as a twist on the first Avenger because it was kind of like a good lead into the idea of the multiverse and a different path taken by the characters or an event, and then it's just like how would that change? And this is a different universe now.
Oh, totally. I would love a Captain Carter movie. She was rad as hell.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite episode?
I mean, I don't think it's controversial, the Doctor Strange one.
Oh yeah, the Doctor Strange one was fucking great.
Yeah, I think that's probably a universal opinion that it was probably the best episode.
No, I saw articles where people were like, and this is how Marvel ruined Doctor Strange.
Really? Oh, okay.
Because people suck. I mean,
what about yourself then? What would be your favorite episode?
I think I have like a top 4.
Sure. I mean, that's how lists work of 9 episodes.
Yeah, I got 4 favorite ones.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Captain Carter one.
Yeah.
because she's just really cool. I really enjoyed T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Sure, that was great.
He's just like the best guy and nice guy Thanos. It's great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Doctor Strange one.
Yeah.
And I also, just purely because it was fun, I enjoyed Party Thor.
Yeah, Party Thor had a lot of good stuff going on in it as well. And one of the reasons I think as well that the Doctor Strange one stands a bit above is that it was the point in the show where, like, Doctor Strange was aware of the Watcher, and then it started to bring this idea that it's like, wait, he's not just beyond, like, people can start to perceive him and stuff like that, because that's, of course, what the conclusion is. So.
Yeah, I was like, when I was watching that one, I'm like, is this the last episode?
Yeah, no, it had a feel like of that kind of thing. Like it could have just been like ended right there, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Dark Strange is cool.
Yeah, and like I said as well, I think that Captain Carter was a good intro episode because it was like, oh yeah, okay, twist on Captain America. She's the first Avenger. And then I really felt that the action in that episode was actually really good. I was really impressed, like when she's fighting that group of Nazis, like with the truck and like the motorbike and the shield and stuff like that, and it all just flowed really well. And I was like, wow, this is like well thought out, well animated action. Totally. I wish I enjoyed the style more.
Or when she's like fighting the tentacle monster with the sword, that was really cool too.
Well, and of course, as D&D fans, that's some total D&D stuff.
Yeah. This is not really, well, it's kind of related. When I was watching the last episode of What If, when they're all fighting as a team.
Yeah.
I was like, this is some good party coordination.
Oh, absolutely.
It was just like, I don't know. I was thinking of it in terms, because like all I'm doing is reading D&D stuff. I was thinking of it in terms of like, oh, okay, so this is like a 6-second round, and like, okay, so she has bonus action. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, and it is kind of interesting as well. Like, we have reached a point, of course, where in the movies themselves, like the live action, when they want to do some crazy stuff, they can. There is still, of course, that limited of that it's just going to cost more. So this was, again, like specifically when they were fighting Ultron there was some stuff that it was like, wow, these are some cool ideas that we haven't seen in the movies before being done, because of course it's animated characters, so they can kind of push it a little more versus in the CGI blockbuster fight that's going to cost you $10 million more to do like one of those things, so they're like, we're just not going to do that.
Oh, totally.
I'm thinking specifically like when Strange multiplies all Mjolnir, and then there's like hundreds of them just hitting them all at once, and I was like, wow, that was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you have what did you think was the weakest episode?
Ooh, interesting. I don't know. See, because it's like I feel like a lot of Party Thor was weak, but then it had kind of it was just a fun turn and tone, and then it was kind of cool when Captain Marvel shows up and just starts beating on him. And then, yeah, I don't know, like even like the Killmonger one, I liked that idea of them together, and he's gonna just betray them all, and I thought it was just neat how his plan came together, and it didn't really have a conclusion, but I was also like, that's cool, because it's fine that it doesn't have a conclusion. That's the point, is that these universes continue and you can just imagine it.
Totally.
So yeah, I don't know, I guess maybe no, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of zombie stuff, so the zombie one may be a little weak, but it was also kind of a neat take that these heroes maintain their powers, so
I wanted to like the zombie one, but I did feel like it was a bit weak. And then I also felt like the episode where Black Widow and Fury are going to all the people, but they keep dying.
I was about to say, yeah, where Ant-Man's killing everybody.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of a neat murder mystery and idea that it was just like, yeah, what if he went bad and uses Ant-Man technology to just murder everybody?
Yeah, but it wasn't a very entertaining episode for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Although I did laugh when Tony Stark just dies right away.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she just like jabs him and he just immediately just keels over.
Yeah.
But I did like in that one Fury teaming up with Loki, and
Yeah,
then
that
Loki's
was
like,
fun.
I'm just gonna actually take over your planet now. So yeah, I mean, like I said, like there's some dips here and there, but then there were some overall cool ideas, I think, in the even the weaker episodes.
Oh yeah. Plus we got to see zombie Scarlet Witch.
Sure.
That was great.
Well, and yeah, just like that idea, or that you could see it, of course, especially after watching WandaVision and having read stuff, that it's just like, yeah, Vision would do that. He's trying to keep her alive and cure her so that he can be with Wanda, and then
Yeah, of course
luring
he
people
would.
there to feed her.
They love each other so much that it's unhealthy for other people to be around them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which, like I said, that's the kind of the point in the Vision, I think it was Tom King run, where it's just like, yeah, it's like he would destroy the world for his family, literally.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it was really neat too. Like I said, the T'Challa Star-Lord one was a lot of fun and interesting, because it was like, yeah, here's this man who was meant to be a king and had like the moral, straight, versus Peter Quill, who was just, a normal child, right? And
Yeah.
so he didn't really have that training. And then, like you said, T'Challa really like turns things around and like solves the galaxy's problems. And I just thought that was funny. Nebula with hair was weird. I was like,
Yeah.
what is that? And then it was, it's a great little heist thing, and Benicio del Toro being the villain, and he's got all the cool tech.
Yeah. He's awesome. That character is like the same as Jeff Goldblum, right? They're part of the somethings.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know the exact terms, but they're kind of...
The Eternals or the Immortals or something like Eternals?
I don't think they're the Eternals, but I could definitely see them being some sort of Immortals.
One of the ageless elders of the universe. That's what he is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he's an immortal of some sort, but he's not an eternal, because they're different.
No. Yeah, sorry. He's like, he's an ageless elder. Yeah. And I think, I believe that, oh yeah, the Collector is one, and Ego was one as well. Yeah. Yeah, they're all part of the same team.
The same thing, anyway.
Yeah. No, they're called like a team.
Oh, really?
They're a group of Superman or supervillains.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I like that. Oh, sorry. I was saying I liked it at the end of that T'Challa Star-Lord one, where Ego finds Peter working at the Dairy Queen.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Because that's where he would work. That's where Chris Pratt would probably work if he wasn't an actor.
Isn't that the story or whatever? He was working at something like that or whatever, and then just decided to audition for something, and then...
Have you heard about his headshot stories?
He was living in the van.
Yeah, he got his headshots from he was just walking down the street, and this dude's like, "Hey, you should be a model." And he's like, "Actually, I'm an actor." And he's like, "Cool, I'm a photographer. I'll take your picture. Come to my hotel."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then later he's like, "That could have gone really wrong, but yeah. I got cool headshots out of it." Yep.
Yeah, generally the advice is don't do that.
Yep. Pretty much.
But yeah, the Order, I guess we could talk a bit. I want to talk a bit about, of course, the voice of the Watcher, Jeffrey Wright, he's Bernard in Westworld. He's also in the Bond movies, the more recent ones, as Felix Leiter, the FBI guy. And
you know what? I could almost place his voice, but not quite.
Sorry, correction, CIA guy, not FBI. But yeah, it's funny, yeah, because listening to it as well, I was like, I thought it was Keith David originally, because I was like, wow, this guy's kind of on that Keith David. And I was like, oh, it's Jeffrey Wright. Close.
I thought it was LeVar Burton.
Oh, really? And then...
I don't know, he has a calming sound to his voice, you know?
Well, and it's got that rasp in there that's like, it works.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Think of the character design of the Watcher.
I mean, it's straight out of the comic book. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like, that's what they look like. They're just weird, bald-headed, white-eyed, immortal guys. But I did like it when in the episode 8 when he goes like full armor and tries to fight back. And
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like,
cool.
that's looking cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I just wanted to talk a bit about some of the writers
Oh
of the
yeah.
show. There was some A.C. Bradley was one name that came up a lot, and Matthew Chauncey. They wrote quite a few of them, and it was director or it was A.C. Bradley. She pitched Marvel on Captain Marvel. They didn't go with her idea, but then she kept on pitching stuff, and they liked a lot of her pitches that were like, "Hey, that could work well in a What If show." So she became involved in this.
Oh, that's
Which,
cool.
yeah, which good for her.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and just some of the voice casting. Just talking a bit about the Watcher there. Of course, I was surprised and then not surprised just how many of the actors voiced their same characters.
I feel like Tom Hiddleston specifically just is starting to believe he actually is Loki.
I think out of all the performances, I think his was the best.
Oh yeah, no, he's great in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like he is very ready to be Loki for any amount of Loki work.
Sure. I mean, why would you not?
Oh no, totally. Like, I thought it was cool too that a lot of characters did the voices.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like we talked about in our Black Widow episode that it's like I can understand some of these actors wanting to step away. You know, it's been 10 to whatever amount of years, a big chunk of their career. But then I could also understand if you didn't and you just wanted to keep playing the character for as long as they're willing to write cool stories and pay you to do it. It's like, sure. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
why not?
yeah, like guys like Chris Evans and of course Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and stuff like that, when they're like, you know, I'm gonna walk away from it, but it's like I'm sure Marvel would have kept them around if they wanted to.
Yep, totally.
But yeah, so I was surprised, like, because I'm looking at the cast list here and I was writing some stuff down that I was like, even for just one or two scenes that people show up for, it's like they'll show up and do the lines.
The guy that was doing Tom Holland's voice, I know it wasn't Tom Holland, but he sounded just like him, hey?
Yeah, he did a good job. Actually, that's one of my notes. I was like, that guy did a good job.
Yeah, I didn't realize it wasn't him until like later.
Scarlett Johansson didn't do her voice for, it was Lake Bell, I believe her name was.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson's too busy suing Disney to do it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, even just like Jeff Goldblum did the Grandmaster's voice, and he was in like what, 2 scenes?
Oh yeah. I also feel like Jeff Goldblum is just willing to do anything too.
Sure, but I just mean like they brought these guys back to do 2 scenes, and they're like, yeah, sure. I mean, they probably recorded from their house, like over Skype or something.
Yeah, the technology's here now.
Exactly. But yeah, like it was pretty impressive, just like looking at the list and even just listening to it when I was just like, wow, it's pretty cool they got so many of these people back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because again, it's just this animated show. You're showing up, you do a couple of days or whatever. It's not like a Loki or a WandaVision or something like that. It's just like, yeah, you just do it for the fun of it.
Yeah, do it in your boxers. No one can see you anyways. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, it's mostly just like it's notable who didn't do their voice versus who did, essentially. Like, because it's like I said, Lake Bell did Black Widow, and then someone else did do Gamora, and like you said, that guy who did Tom Holland's voice or Spider-Man, as well as someone else did Iron Man / Tony Stark.
Yeah, I could tell Iron Man right away.
Yeah, and same thing with Steve Rogers. It wasn't Chris Evans.
Yeah, the actor that voiced Spider-Man, I believe, is replacing Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Really?
Yes, I believe that. I think I read that this movie that's coming out in December, the No Way Home, is Tom Holland's last Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I know, he's so good.
Yeah, I like him.
Me too.
And of course, I mean, we can't not mention Chadwick Boseman, of course, as Black Panther. I was surprised bet they got all his voice work before he died.
Yeah, that was sad. I'm sad that he died.
Yeah.
So young, like our age.
Yep. But yeah, I was, like I said, I was surprised and I was glad. And, then they dedicated the episode to him and everything. So.
Yeah, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should we talk about Kate now? Or do you want to talk some more about What If?
Well, I guess I just wanted to maybe quickly go through a couple of things. Like I was saying, we haven't really talked about the conclusion as much, which...
fair.
Yeah, we could talk about that. So Doctor Strange, his episode, like I was saying, I really liked it. He eventually collapses his universe and then is just alone by himself. And then what happens in episode 8 is that Ultron wins, gets the titanium vision body, and then when Thanos shows up, lasers him, gets all the Infinity Stones, and then just starts going wild.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm like, that's what we need more of.
Yeah, and that's, again, something you can do more in animation and with these kinds of stories. And yeah, he just starts going to universe after universe and just starts messing them up.
Just destroying everything.
Yeah, and I like the one shot there where they do like the big like Galactus shot where he just chomps a galaxy, basically.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And then the Watcher is like, oh my gosh, he can see me and he's doing this. So then the Watcher gets into the fight, eventually realizes he can't really beat Ultron on his own, and ends up in that dimension with, or that universe, sorry, with Supreme Strange. And he's like, hey, I need your help.
Yeah, you've got to put together a team.
That's right. So he puts together the team, like we spoke a bit about it earlier. So he brings back all the characters that we've seen throughout this show, where you got Captain Carter, T'Challa, Killmonger, Strange, of course. Who does he bring from zombies? Does he bring anybody from zombies?
No, but Wanda makes an appearance.
Wanda does eventually make an appearance, sure.
And they do dump all of the zombies on Ultron at one point.
Yeah, which was fun.
Yeah, totally fun.
Yeah, so, and Thor as well, and Gamora from an episode we have unfortunately not seen.
Yeah, because they decided to push it to season 2 for some reason, even though it makes sense to be in this season.
Yeah. Well, and in the beginning of that episode, I think, yeah, there's Widow and Hawkeye, and they're going around and they're trying to find Artem Zola because they're like, we could use his AI to fight the Ultron AI, and then eventually they end up in her universe. And yeah, they, like Devin was saying, they're like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to lure him to a universe that's basically dead or nothing is there, and then we're just going to use all of our skills together to try to fight him off. And we get a big crescendo of magic and tech and fighting, and like I said, Mjolnir multiplied to 100, and it's all pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Unbeknownst to us all, aka super obvious, Killmonger's going to betray them.
Yep.
Because he helped build like that kind of tech. He helped build the Ultron tech in his universe. So he's like, I'm going to take this and use it for myself. And then eventually it's all a ruse, and Strange traps them in their own universe.
Yeah, and then he takes it to his little pocket universe.
Yeah, so he becomes the Watcher of that universe. Because the Watcher's like, well, they can't get out and they can never, because basically, it becomes basically like a tug of war. They're both trying to get the Infinity Stones. And so he's just like, if one of them actually does, then we're screwed. So he's just like, just keep them there, make sure they don't win.
Yeah.
So yeah, he becomes a Watcher, but unfortunately of only one universe.
He's a Watcher in training.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. But I think
everyone goes back to their own universes except for Black Widow. She gets to go to a universe where their Black Widow died.
Yes.
Yeah. So she gets a happy ending-ish.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
She gets to be in her element, which is chaos.
Yeah.
No, and like I said, it was cool to see again a lot of these things animated where, yeah, like this Doctor Strange is just unleashing all the magic you can imagine, and cool, jumping around and shooting and Star-Lord tech and everything. So I did like the final battle sequences, I guess.
Yeah, it was cool.
So yeah, would you recommend people watch the What Ifs?
I feel like you will get the most enjoyment out of What if you are a fan of the MCU and you've seen the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a good introductory series. Like if you're not that familiar with Marvel, then it's not an. I think it would be harder to jump in.
Right.
Or you wouldn't get the same enjoyment out of it because like you don't know the original story.
Sure.
But yeah, overall, if you're a fan of Marvel, I think it's a fun show.
Yeah, I never really thought about that perspective, like you said, of maybe someone less familiar with the material that you're just like, yeah, check this out, and then be like, why do I even care that this person's different?
Yeah, yeah, like if you've only seen like the first Avenger movie and nothing else, it's maybe not for you.
Yeah, that's fair. No, yeah, that's an interesting. That makes perfect sense. Like I said, I had not thought of it because, like we've talked about before, that it's just like we're steeped in this. That there's no way for me to not know everything about it.
How about you? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think, like I said, overall, I was a fan of the stories and the show itself. Like I said, I just had some qualms about the animation, but overall, I mean, they're like 30-minute episodes, so it's not like you're there being drugged through this 2-hour long epic unless you watch all of them at this once.
It's just a quickie.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was just neat to see these characters in different situations, and I did enjoy it.
Let's move on.
Sure, let's move on.
Let's talk about Kate.
Let's talk about Kate.
We need to talk about Kate.
Why is she so mean?
Wait, she's not mean. She's awesome.
No, I know. I know. I was making a joke.
Okay, so Kate is like a neon action movie. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did enjoy Kate actually, and which is good. And two things I enjoyed this time. Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously we'll get into it and stuff like that, but it was like it really reminded me of a mashup of like Crank and Gunpowder Milkshake and like one other movie that I can't remember now. I had it like yesterday, but
John Wick?
Remember. No, it wasn't John Wick because I was like, that's too obvious. It was something else. But definitely the Crank came into my brain like right away.
Yeah, in the description on Netflix, it just says it's Crank meets John Wick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not off about that. But yeah, no, I did enjoy it. I thought there was some good martial arts, some good gunplay, and some neat action sequences, and yeah, just enough there. It was a nice hour 45, and you're in and you're out kind of thing. So,
yep.
What about yourself?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought, what's her name? Mary Winston something or other?
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead was very well cast in that movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her performance. I haven't seen Gemini Man, which I know she was in, but I thought she really nailed this one.
Oh yeah, I thought she was just great in it. I was wondering, like, because I feel like, so she was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim, right?
Yes.
I feel like that hurt her career a little bit. Well, I feel like so many people just saw her as like a manic pixie dream girl, but now in the last few years, she's like picking up these like action roles and she's just killing it.
Right. I don't know. I think it was. I think there was. I was reading our interview with her. Sorry, and she likes playing like that. She liked playing that role, like as Ramona Flowers kind of a thing. So she was, like you said, maybe it hurt in that overall way, but it was like it was stuff. It was work she wanted to do. So
okay.
Yeah. But you could be very right about that. And I know, yeah, like I said, she was in Gemini Man, which is an action movie. Birds of Prey. She was playing the Huntress. So good.
Huntress in Birds of Prey was like so good.
Exactly right. So it is interesting that turn, and people and the actors now, like Keanu Reeves calls it like physical acting, where he's like, I'm willing to learn the moves and stuff like that, and then do what I can up to when you need a stunt person, right? So it just helps bring people in, and you're like, oh yeah, they're kicking ass.
I appreciate that, like, at least in her more recent movies, like, because her and I are the same age, and she kind of like looks like she's that age. Like she looks like she's 36. Right. Like not in a, I don't mean that in a mean way or anything like that. Oh no, yeah. But she doesn't look like she's like made up or airbrushed to look like she's 26. And I don't know, I appreciate people just being their own age.
Fair enough. One note that I had, and it's something I wanted to bring up because I think this is kind of comical, is how many takes did they have, and how much footage would there be of Mew or Mary Elizabeth Winstead like dry heaving or throwing up?
When did she throw up?
She's like throwing up the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
It's like every time she does an action scene, she's like throwing up practically right after it.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the scene where her like teeth are coming out.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was funny because like, or not throwing up, but it was also dry heaving and stuff like that. I was just like, how many takes of that do they have to do? Get her out of her trailer. I'm sorry, Mary. We need you from this other angle of you pretending to throw up.
Oh.
Fun days on set, I imagine. Basically, the premise is she is a trained assassin working for V and potentially other people we don't know. And then she wants to get out, and she gets poisoned by polonium-204. So she only has about 24 hours to live. So she's going on revenge to kill who poisoned her.
She's going on a rampage.
Basically, an Archer-style rampage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's trying to find who poisoned her before she dies, while still at the same time falling apart.
So that she can kill them.
So she can kill them.
Yeah. And she has some adrenaline shots, I guess.
Yeah, or it's I can't remember what it was now. Was it just pure adrenaline?
They just look like EpiPens. Isn't that what an EpiPen is? Just a shot of adrenaline?
No, it could be many things or whatever. But she has some sort of medicine to help keep her along, basically keep her going.
I think she specifically says stimulants.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
she's on a bunch of stimulants.
Yeah. To basically keep her going.
Yeah.
So she could continue her rampage.
I don't know. It was like, I watched it and it felt like they were trying to be an anime, but like without trying to be too anime about it, which I appreciated.
Sure. Plus, I mean, I couldn't find any information about a budget, but doing some more anime stuff could potentially cost more.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking specifically of this scene where she steals the car with all the neon lights underneath it.
Yeah.
And like the J-pop is playing.
It was really weird, that scene too, because up to that point in the movie, it was like pretty grounded and everything. And then that movie goes like off the rails in a sense with like the CG and then the spinning camera and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that really took a turn from, she's doing her thing and it's pretty realistic. And all of a sudden just like neon CG car chase.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because then the rest of the movie, it doesn't really continue with that then.
It does a little bit. I was thinking specifically of when she goes before she meets up with the little girl.
Yep. When she goes to the Black Scorpion Club, right?
Yeah, when she goes to the Black Scorpion Club, which had like some really cool fight choreography.
Yeah.
But also some really cool like cinematography where like if she flips, the camera flips too.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to bring up, was that I really enjoyed all the stylization in that scene and stuff like that. But then I feel like it didn't continue, mainly because that scene was all like hand to hand, and then the rest of the movie is mostly all gunplay.
Oh, that's true. Although this scene with Rennie, what was the bad guy's name?
Which bad guy?
Not the head of the clan, but the like number 2 dude.
Renji,
yeah. When she's fighting his boyfriend.
Yeah, it was good.
That was really good, and I love all the acting choices that actor made. Like he was playing that role like he was like a queer-coded Disney villain from the 90s. Like he's like, wait, I can be more sinister, but also fabulous.
Yeah. No, he was making some good. He was looking good and doing some good stuff in there.
Just like the way he moved and the way he spoke and everything. I loved it so much. It was so good.
One thing I really liked in that scene as well was that by this point, like you said, she's met the girl because she used him or her, sorry, to get into his
Yeah.
apartment. Was that she picks up the gun and then like just flubs it the whole scene. Like she can't cock it. She drops all the magazine from it. She just has no idea. And then when she finally does get it to work, she ends up shooting the wrong person. Yeah, just because she has no idea. Which I did enjoy that scene and that part of the scene.
Most people can't pick up a gun and just shoot it well.
Yeah, quite true.
Yeah, no, that was a great. Oh man, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it had some good action set pieces and really kept things kind of going along in that same way like a movie like this should. You know, it's like she's gonna die, so she's just got to keep going, right?
I have a question that you may be able to answer because you're more worldly than I am.
Oh, so worldly.
Do they actually like project anime and like stuff on buildings in Japan? Because that looked really fucking cool.
I actually cannot confirm or deny because unfortunately I've never been in Japan. But
Yeah,
I could definitely see
really neat.
Yeah, I mean I could definitely see stuff like that happening. Like even around here once in a while there's like some, laser projections onto stuff and neon signage and stuff like that. Like the waving kitty at the end of the movie and the beginning of the movie. It's like I could see that definitely being real. So
I think it was the scene where she's trying to shoot the head of the clan, like the uncle.
Yep.
And she's on the rooftop, and then in the background there's that like skyscraper that has just like an anime scene playing on it. that was really cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know.
Yeah, I like to think that it is. That's just how it is.
It's quite possible. The movie was directed here by someone, Cedric Nicholas Troyan, I believe was the name, and which I looked up and did not recognize a lot of the work. I think it was like mostly TV stuff, and then it was written by Umir Alim, which is kind of interesting. Is that they acquired the script in 2017, and then in 2018 they had the director come on board, and then in 2019 April. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was cast, and then Woody Harrelson came on in July as well. And yeah, it was filmed in September 2019 to November 2019.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was interesting because they shot in Tokyo, Thailand as well, and other because like that Osaka in the beginning was really Osaka, but that could just be like B-roll footage, and they shot in LA as well, so probably pick up stuff at the end.
Do you know? Was it always acquired for Netflix, or was it supposed to be a theatrical release that got kicked to Netflix because of the pandemic?
No, because like I said, they bought the script in 2017. So.
Oh, so like Netflix bought, like this was always supposed to be a Netflix release.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe that wasn't maybe what the writer had in mind or something, but Netflix acquired it in 2017. Maybe shopped it around, and then these producers decided to go with Netflix or whatever.
I was curious because there seems to be a lot of like big name actor kind of like action-ish genre movies coming out on Netflix like in the next couple months that all they have that scent of like this was supposed to be a theatrical release but the pandemic happened and now they don't want to release it or something.
We've talked about it and stuff like that as well, that I could definitely see that being an avenue for these producers and studios to try to recoup some of the costs, that they could sell it to Netflix or to Amazon or to Disney or whoever. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was interesting talking about Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She worked with the stunt performer Haley Wright is her name on Birds of Prey as well as Gemini Man. She was her double. She was her double in this movie, and they trained a lot, and apparently they both come from a dance background. But what was really too bad is that unfortunately Haley Wright injured herself in the first day of filming in Thailand.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then another woman, I believe her name was Athena Parampil, became the body double for Mary for the rest of the movie. So I was like, oh, that's really too bad. Like she's worked with her on 2 other projects, and so they probably have a good chemistry and working relationship about how the action scenes could work, and then hurts herself.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that we have to mention There was a rock band scene with a Japanese all-female group called Bandmaid. They're in the movie as themselves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The drink that
That
she's
makes
looking
sense
for.
that they're called Bandmaid.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that name, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. As well as, like, well, we got to mention that because that was that's totally Japan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the drink she's looking for, Boom Boom Lemon, is not real.
No, there's a different drink that Tony mentioned that sounds very similar to Boom Boom Lemon.
Sure. I can see that, but it's
They
not.
maybe couldn't get the rights to it or something. I don't know.
Right. we need the maybe they wanted too much money for the product placement.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we'll do it for like $5. We need the name. They're like, no, we don't want it in this R-rated action movie.
Yeah, no, this is a children's drink.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, or it's like a Tarantino kind of situation, right? Because he has like his made-up cigarette brands in his movies and stuff like that, where it's just like,
Oh, that's true.
You should make up a drink, the Boom Boom Lemon.
But there's something that's very similar. I can't remember what he said it was called, but there's something that's very similar to Boom Boom Lemon. Like, it's like one word syllable, lemon.
Right. Bang Bang Lemon.
Might have been.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I really appreciated about this movie is that they don't fuck around, you know?
Yeah.
Like, when she goes to the Scorpion Club, she's just shooting people. She's like, hey, I only have, like, the night, so...
Yeah.
So fuck off, and I'm just gonna shoot you.
Yeah, basically, she's just like, she's like, okay, tell me what I want to know, or I'm gonna shoot you. And then he's like, well, what do you mean? And then blam. She's like, all right, so next guy, tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, like, I feel like, I don't know, there's just too much talk in a lot of action movies. It's nice to just see them be like, bam, you're dead now.
Fair enough. One thing I was hoping for, and obviously the spoilers, we've been talking spoilers the whole time, but I was hoping that V wasn't going to be the bad guy, because I thought that was too obvious.
Yeah, it was obvious. I thought for a bit maybe he was, like, poisoning her Boom Boom Lemon.
Right.
And that, like, the wine bottle was, like, a ruse or something, or it accelerated it or something. But, yeah, he was the bad guy. It was fine.
Well, and I was kind of almost thinking that I was like, oh, it could be an interesting twist where it could be, because when Kate, that is doing her assassination missions, she's talking with a woman. And I was I was like, who is that woman? And then they mentioned the, what's her name? Annie's mom a couple times and how she's out of the picture. And I was like, oh, if it's like the mom who's like manipulating things so Kate goes on a rampage, I was like, that'd be kind of a neat.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was the direction, because I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat thing. Like, she's only been mentioned. We don't know who she is, but then she's been kind of manipulating the situation. But then that didn't turn out to be the case.
Yeah.
But what I did like with her confrontation at the end with Varric was that it was like a quick draw gunfight situation, like a Western.
Yeah.
Which I liked that. It wasn't like a weird, it wasn't this big fight-esque situation, because she's pretty messed up by that point. She's been shot a few times.
She's basically dead.
So anyway, like I said, I just thought there might be something more there or something different, but it just turned out to be Varric. And then I did like in that final action scene how the old man also came along and then cuts up Renji pretty good.
Oh, yeah, that was very satisfying. Where he's like, you're just a thug and I'm a businessman. You're not even a samurai. And then he's like, he's dead.
Yeah.
I sorted you to death. Fuck you.
Again, things I liked. The makeup that they did on her was quite good. And,
yeah, it looked really cool.
Well, and it was just interesting because I was trying to remember, because her chest is like all kind of messed up and she has some burns on her arm that I can't remember if they were there in the beginning of the movie or not, because I was like, yeah, being a life of an assassin would lead to some scarring, right? So
she gets poisoned because she picks up a guy at a bar and he poisons her wine because he's like in debt to the Yakuza who hires him to do that. And I feel like there's a point when they're having sex where they do kind of like a zoom in where he tries to touch her arm, but there's like a bunch of scars on it.
Yeah.
So I think those were like assassin scars, but I
Yeah.
think like the burning was from the radiation poisoning.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leading and thinking as well. But either way, I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, because she looked pretty messed up at the end of
She
the
looked
movie.
messed up, but somehow still like more gorgeous than like 90% of women after they get a makeover. And that's not me insulting other women, that's just me praising Mary.
Sure, I would say her little movie magic, as it were.
Yeah, she's a very nice face. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. Like that shot where they're coming in for that final assault because she has all the goons and everything, and they all just kind of like fan out behind her, and she's just wearing her ratty t-shirt at this point and like
Yeah,
smoking. I was like,
with her
this is,
sunglasses on.
yeah, I was like, this is a great shot, and just kind of showing at this point she's like beyond caring of anything.
She's like, I know that it's almost the end.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, a lot of praise. Enjoyed a lot of stuff about it. But this was either weird editing or just unfocused. Is when she gets shot by Annie near the three-quarter before the big action at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Where does she get shot?
in her cheek, it looked like.
Yeah, but how would the bullet enter her cheek and exit without murdering her?
I feel like it was more like maybe it grazed her.
Yeah, maybe. But then when she's on the ground, it looks like more like a hole versus a graze.
That's a good point. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe she has Kevlar teeth.
I don't know. Like I said, it was very unclear, and just the way it was like shot, and when Annie shoots her, and Mary does his turn and falls to the ground, and I was just like, did that shoot her in the face? But the angle wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it was a little unclear, but
Yeah,
it's also fast paced enough that I didn't really mind too much.
fair enough. It was something to me that because I watched this movie twice, and I was
Oh,
kind of
nice.
like, yeah, I was just like, this is unclearly done comparatively to the rest of the movie where we pretty much see like where shots are landing and who's getting stabbed and how. And this was just
Who's getting stabbed? Let's
yeah,
find
this was
out.
this was vague here. But I mean, it's a like you said, it's a minor. The point is that she gets shot, not that and doesn't die. That's fine. Right?
Yeah.
The point is that he's kidnapping Annie because he's gonna try to use her the same way he used Mew. So
Yep. Exactly.
yeah. What about yourself? Anything that stood out negative to you about the project?
No, I just enjoyed the whole movie.
Wow.
Yeah. I just thought it was fun and I like good fight choreography and it was visually striking. The story, I guess the story could have been more complex if I
Yeah, I
have
think.
to criticize something, but I was
Sure.
fine with it the way it was.
Yeah, it's almost like if they didn't do the Varric twist, or if it was more just kind of like he is the bad guy from almost the beginning, then that's fine. But then if you're gonna do some kind of twist, it was like maybe do a different twist.
Yeah, it was a predictable twist.
Yeah.
But I was also like I was kind of okay with the simplicity of the story. Like
Yeah.
it's very like it'd be hard to like not get it because it's like okay, she's dying, we have a ticking clock, she's going to be dead by the end of the movie, she has nothing to like keep her going except for revenge for these next like 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So she can just recklessly attack as many people as she wants, and she has the skills to back it up. And I'm like, that's enough for me.
Yeah, like I said, like for me, the Crank comparison, that's not like a negative. That's cool. It's just like we're gonna go on this adrenaline ride here.
You know, it's funny. I think I've only seen Crank 2.
Oh, really? I've never seen the sequel.
The sequel is like absolutely insane and really, really stupid. Like in a good way. Like it's like
Sure.
it's all camp and nothing. Like they Jason Statham and this other dude end up like growing into kaiju size and battle at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So So like I can't. I feel like Crank is a little bit more serious than that. Am I right?
I mean, it doesn't sound like it goes that campy for sure. It's a little more grounded.
Okay. Because yeah, like I think I've only seen Crank 2, and I did have a little bit of an expectation that it was going to be a little bit more whimsical, I guess, like Gunpowder Milkshake was, and not as grounded in reality.
Right.
But it didn't. That when I realized what was going on, it didn't affect my enjoyment of the movie.
Right.
Because it was just a really solid movie. Like, if you're gonna have a simple plot to like highlight cool visuals and cool fight scenes, then you better deliver on both those things. And I thought that the movie did.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Can I ask you an unrelated question to anything we've been talking about?
Okay.
I'm sorry, but this has been bothering me since last night.
Okay.
In The Matrix, you know when Morpheus is explaining to Neo what the Matrix actually is, when they're in that white room and they have those like overstuffed leather chairs and the TV and everything?
Absolutely.
And then it goes through the TV at one point, and then they're in the desolate,
the desert of the real.
The desert of the real?
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Morpheus change the scenery with his mind, or is it like a pre-made program where he has to hit beats at certain points, otherwise it stops making sense?
Maybe it's a mix, right? Because there is the operator still, and he'd be watching the scene, and so he would be like, "Oh, okay, Morpheus is talking about this now. Let's move it to the next scene."
That's fair. That's what Tony said too. But I'm like, in my mind,
he's like, "I know that my speech is 2 minutes, and I have to."
Yeah, I have to hit all these beats in this time frame. So Neo cannot ask any questions.
The craziest thing about that sequence, of course, as well, is that the original idea was that they weren't going to use humans as a power source because that's dumb, is that they were going to use us as a processing source because our brains can process a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the studio was like, people won't get that. Make us batteries.
Oh, okay.
Which, because I'm sure you've seen that as well, but it's like, yeah, the math doesn't work. Like sustaining a human takes more energy than like we give out, essentially.
Yeah. Sorry, that's been bothering me. I really hope that it's just like he just has a prepared speech for you.
Sure. I could see both, basically.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just really like that idea that it's like a performance he's done like 70 times before.
He's got to rehearse it.
He's got to rehearse it. He has to learn the lines.
Yeah.
You have to learn to pause to like at the appropriate time, because like this is when 90% of people ask a question.
Yeah. They don't ask a question. He has to sit there in silence for a little longer, looking mysterious.
Yeah. He's like, okay, it'll just be like I'm like being quiet to make emphasis. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Just move on.
I'm looking more mysterious before I answer them. Welcome to the desert of the
that bothered me about The Matrix, but nothing bothered me about Kate.
Fair enough. One thing about Kate that was also kind of funny to me was at the beginning in that first scene where she beats up those two Yakuza guys and then like parkours up the crane. She has my backpack. I was like, hey, it's my backpack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, Dan, are you going to pursue a life of crime as an assassin now? Because you have the backpack for it.
I use it to carry my climbing gear.
That's boring. You should become an assassin. I bet you could reuse a lot of your climbing gear for it.
I mean, it would come in handy.
Yeah. You got all that rope? I'm sure you need rope as an assassin.
I mean, once in a while, it's got to come in handy.
Chalk?
Yeah, can't have sweaty hands.
Can't have sweaty hands. Nope. I guess we should wrap it up because I'm becoming silly now.
Yeah, but so, I mean, obviously it sounds overall you would recommend Kate for people.
Honestly, I don't remember enjoying a movie this much in like recent memory.
Cool. How would you compare it, say, to Gunpowder or Milkshake?
I preferred it to Gunpowder Milkshake. I enjoyed the whimsy of Gunpowder Milkshake and the librarians and the general look of the set, but I felt like Kate was a tighter, more concise, and, and like to a certain degree, like better, maybe because there's just less dialogue. I thought it was better dialogue, better acting, and better fight choreography.
Cool.
So yeah, I preferred it. What about you? Which one did you prefer?
Yeah, I think Kate would probably edge it out a little bit, and I think I agree with a lot of your points. And like we talked about in Gunpowder Milkshake, there was a lot there that was a lot of fun and a lot of cool world building. But the Kate was more of a straightforward action movie, like I said, in that sense, where it's just like she's going on a rampage of revenge, and we're along for it. So, and it was a lot of fun, some good action set pieces, and some good choreography. And yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the gunplay as well, because like I said, the market scene and the end scene was mostly gunfights, and I thought it was handled quite nice.
I forgot to mention it, but I really enjoyed that there was a random defibrillator at a concert.
Well, I mean,
hilarious.
I could
use of it.
Yeah, but no, I could see that because like a lot of medical kits would have that.
Yep, that makes total sense. But it's funny. It's something you don't think about, being like, that does make sense, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed Kate. I thought it was one of the better movies that I've seen in a while.
Cool.
Yeah, I would watch it again. And I would recommend it if you like action movies. If you don't like action movies and you think it's a rom-com, then you will be confused.
Bitterly disappointed.
You're like, Kate, it's about a lady looking for love.
Yeah, I think when you suggested it to me before, because I hadn't heard about it either, and then you were like, yeah, let's do this movie Kate, and I'm like, what? And you were like, oh, it's like another action movie. I was like, all right, sure.
It's a neon action movie.
Yeah.
It's a genre now, because there's at least 3 movies or 3 franchises I can name that are like neon action movies, right?
Yeah, and I think like we've talked about even with John Wick and with this and Gunpowder, that it's like, these lower budget, not to as an insult, action movies, like we're missing them in a way, but now we're getting them, and they're fun.
And they're fun, and they're neon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Sure.
You can go to our website. It's tomeofuselessness.com. You can also rate and review us on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Tome of Uselessness. And you can also email us and tell us what neon action movie we should watch next. tomeofuselessness@gmail.com. That's it, right?
Yeah, stay safe, and thanks for listening.
Bye!